I think most people know it's been close to 2.5 years. We've been going back and forth with contract negotiations. I think most people understand neither side is going to get everything that they want. But I do believe that the package that we have agreed upon, we have a tentative agreement, is fair for both sides, both the city and Local 834. A couple of items I'd like to touch on. The absence control policy, which is a big win for the administration, and the rollback of the healthcare. The rollback of the healthcare is certainly going to allow the Bridgeport Fire Department to be a little bit more competitive in the open market. It's going to assist with the pocketbooks of the newer members that have been hired. It's going to give them immediate relief. And again, the rollback is to 25%, and we increased that 1% a year, and it's capped at 33 1/3. And unfortunately, a year and a half from now, we'll be back at it again. But the one thing I do have to applaud Local 834 about, there are many municipalities going through contract negotiations now. Some have been going through this a little bit longer than Local 834, but I have to applaud the members here in the Bridgeport Fire Department. And none of them have gone to social media and posted anything negative about the negotiations that have been taking place. So I want to applaud 834 for being extremely professional throughout the 2.5 years, and obviously the wages are fair and very commensurate throughout the city and the state. I believe they're certainly well deserving. They're the hardest working firefighters here in the state of Connecticut. And at this time, I'd like to introduce the president of Local 834, David Dobbs, as well as members of the executive board.
Come on up. Come on up, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, whoever. Lou, Steve, Matt. Thank you. I'll be brief. I don't really have any prepared remarks, and I've never heard a good long speech or a bad short one. I will say this, as the chief touched on, it was a lengthy process, at times frustrating, but I think it's worth acknowledging that ultimately and most importantly, we wound up where we belonged, right? At a good, fair agreement that both sides can live with. If we learned a lesson, maybe next time we'll speed up the process. It won't take 2.5 years, but ultimately we're where we need to be, and we're grateful for that. We are, and it's worthy of acknowledgement, so thank you. Certainly still needs approval of our membership in the City Council. We're confident we can push it across the goal line, and I don't know, believe in Christmas miracles, I guess. Here we are. Yeah, so thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Thanks very much.
Chief?
I don't know.
Yes.
We have Lou D'Amici. Lou is the long-serving secretary of the Uniformed Professional Firefighters of Connecticut. Here is a sign of support. And if you'd like to say a couple words, though I know it wasn't announced, but here you go.
Thank you, Dave. Chief, with me today is Steve Mikulovich, our treasurer, and our president, Peter Brown, apologizes for not being here today. He's at another meeting in Norwalk, but again, congratulations to the chief, David, members of the union's executive board, and certainly the mayor. It is a great day. It's always a good day where the firefighters are taken care of, and apparently everything's going to be a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Congratulations.
And at this time, I'd like to call up Mayor Ganim for a few beautiful words.
Let me grab that one, because there was a couple things I want to touch on the speaking points. Before I do, though, I think on the bigger picture, but particular to the fire department and firefighters in general, uniformed services, of course, included, but talking about firefighters, the brotherhood, as they call it, and sisterhood, I'm sure, but brotherhood within fire or across the lines with firefighters, both within a department or a house or beyond that, is very strong. And it's a admirable, and frankly, I think in some ways, a necessary element of the job because of the challenges and the potential perils that you really need to know that you have each other's back. And I always feel that way, that you always have our back, and that means a lot to us. On this, I will tell you, I heard from anybody and everybody who thought we needed to, on the firefighter side, stay all over saying, look, is there a way, what's going on, how's this moving along? Because it did take time. It did take time. But I appreciated that and what the result is here today. And I know that we have, come on up if we could from the city side too. These negotiations didn't happen in a vacuum. Yeah, come on up. And Janine can come up too if she didn't leave. She always hides away. I got her. Come on up on this. I had her up with the microphone yesterday. I don't know if she wants to go that far today, but I really want to compliment, as I have already, the men and women who serve, whether members of the union that are here represented today, all the way up to the chief, but the leadership, the union leadership, for not only your commitment on behalf of the men and women you serve, but the perseverance to reach what I think is a hard fought and I think a very important result, which I'm going to touch on as the chief did, but also on the city side. This took a lot of hard work. It took skilled, let's call it negotiations, discussions, but understanding of the challenges on both sides as we've talked about it. And we've had our own conversations. Hey, where are we at? What can we do about it? One thing that I think might have caused this not to be the fastest, but maybe the speed isn't the result we wanted, but the quality deals with, as we talked about, if you don't mind me getting into it too a little bit, is the health insurance. The cost it was up to 50%, I think. And now to put that in a more affordable bracket will help with retention of men and women in the department, recruitment, which is important as well, but also I think quality of life, morale. You have young firefighters coming up. Certainly we want to pay the highest and the best that we can, but within that, maybe you're raising a family, trying to buy a house, preferably, hopefully in the city, but wherever. And then you meet those challenges, say, I love this job. It gives me the rewarding of self-fulfillment of doing something. But, it's hard to do. So we appreciate that. Today does make a substantial change in that, which will set the table, I think, for other negotiations. I won't formally comment on any of that, but certainly it's a challenge, I think, that we looked at long and hard, and I think I'm glad we reached the right result here. So I think the underlying benefits of it are long-term, maybe generational to the department, and I think that's a nice thing to have. So I'm not going to go into the other ones. What I'm going to do is just, I don't know if you probably don't, so you don't have to get up here if you don't want to. But I wanted to thank everyone, both on the city side, on the union side, and within the department for producing this and doing it on Christmas week and getting us here. And so this individual will go nameless. I heard from state leaders and everybody. I also heard from rank and file at events. And so there was an officer who said we'd have our handshake when we signed the agreement. And so I'm not going to particularly point who that is out, but if anybody wants to shake my hand now, I'm willing to do it. Great job. Thanks very much. Any questions from anyone from the media? Hard questions go to the chief, by the way. Easy ones to me. No, go ahead.
Any idea when we're going to respect the police with a contract? They're going on the same timeline.
Yeah, and it was really nice. It was said earlier, and I don't mean any disrespect to the media, is someone said, I think it was the chief said, that when questions came up about where we were in this stuff, it was kind of a nice, let's negotiate as we should appropriately and not in the press. So I think even timeframes, other than those that have been published, I will say this, I think this goes a long way to meeting maybe one of the issues that came up on the police side as well, the cost of insurance. So to see where we've been able to develop within the confines of all the elements of what this agreement contains, that's in it, I think is obviously a loud message that that'll be something hopefully we can overcome if it's an obstacle in those negotiations as well. I don't know. I'd like to have it, we have 3 days before Christmas. I don't know if we can pull it off that fast, but we'll try. But whatever it does, again, when we get there, probably more important than the pace or the timing. Again, I think hopefully we'll be standing maybe in this room again looking at good results.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, thanks very much. I think we're good. Thanks. I appreciate it again. Thanks, man. Appreciate having you have the holidays too. Great job.
Thank you, man. Great job.